So outdated, Patrick. Huh? We're so outdated.
Okay, here we go. All right, we're good.
Okay, it's better though.
Guys, your light mic. I'm not on. Am I on now? We have a new screen here. It's so cool. When I was pro tem, it looks different. So thank you all for being here. Today is Thursday, May 8th, 2025. This is the second annual Youth in Local Government. Glad to have all of you here. Thank you to all the elected officials that are here. I want to take a moment to thank the mayor for being here this morning. I want to thank Vice Mayor Angie Anderson for being a supporter of this program. She went all the way out. She's done a whole lot in the back to support it. The council office, Ms. Rosie, and everybody in the council office has been amazing working to make this possible. I want to thank all your principals and your teachers that are here, that have been working with you. Thank you all so much. I have to thank the Metro MMPS Central Office for providing transportation, food, and helping us make this is a total teamwork. I want to thank my team, Sean, Ken, Erin, Aldane, Jermaine, Trent, Seamus, Sharifa, Maya. Thank you all. I hope I did not miss anybody. Thank you all so much. But more importantly, I want to thank you guys for being here. How's your day going so far? Have you been having fun? Have you been learning a lot? All right. So the first half, you get to meet your council members. But for this part, we want you to talk to us, and this is where you do your presentation. So the first school that we have up is James Lawson High School. James Lawson, your council member is Council Member Sherry Winner, and your school board member was here earlier, and she had to leave. And so, council members, you will introduce yourself when you get to having questions for the kids. Students, for your presentation, make sure you introduce the members of your team. You have 10 minutes to present, and then we have 5 minutes for question. The timekeeper will be Ms. Sean over there. Look to her. She will let you know when you are 2 minutes away, and then whatever look at her hand. She'll tell you what you're doing. All right, so I'm going to pass it on to you ladies and gentlemen from James Lawson. Introduce yourself and then go into your presentation.
Okay, is this working now? Okay. So, hello, good afternoon. We are James Lawson High School. My name is Rimas Yassin.
My name is Larry Benitez. And my name is Patrick Miranda.
And we here are presenting to you guys of a major issue we found in Nashville, which is drink spiking. Within Nashville, drink spiking has been a common phenomenon that caused concerns among numerous individuals as issues regarding these druggings arose in the community. Drink spiking refers to the act of which a harmful substance, such as a drug or alcohol, is added into an individual's drink without their notice. These substances are typically added to an alcohol, meaning it is a double dose of depressants. This act takes place in various settings, which includes pubs, parties, nightclubs, restaurants, and even at home. Common substances that are spiked in people's drinks include gamma hydroxybutyrate, retinol, and other substances that are involved in slowing one's brain activity. Effects from drink spiking often results in dizziness, unconsciousness, and vulnerability to assault. Okay. As mentioned, concerns have been brought up by the rise of issues regarding drink spiking in the Nashville community. According to the Vanderbilt University Medical Center, it has been reported that within a month, they had treated 40 cases of individuals whose drinks were spiked. Due to the effects of the drugs, 50% of victims reported having memory loss, and 35% of them reported experiencing blackouts. Furthermore, there has been an increase of online posting on the topic of drink spiking, leading to tourists avoiding Nashville to prevent themselves from the risk of being spiked. A recent example of this was the story of a 30-year-old hockey player, Taylor Boylan, after he disappeared while visiting Jason Alden's kitchen and rooftop bar. Boylan's family grew concerned that they were not able to get a hold of them for over 30 hours. Eventually, Boylan was found at a McDonald's off of McGavick Pike, where he was disoriented and had lost his Apple Watch, phone, and his wallet, which had been empty except for his IDs. Boylan mentioned that he did not remember what occurred and was confused with what happened, showing signs of having his drink spiked.
Now, just as in any situations, challenges come along the way, and 80% of victims do not report these incidents due to the lack of evidence and moral press. Furthermore, hospitals like Vanderbilt University Medical Center that was mentioned earlier have limited capabilities to test for common spiking drugs like GHB and Rohypnol, unless it is reported as sexual assault or if law enforcement is involved. As of January 1, 2025, a new Tennessee law mandates that bartenders and servers undergo training in bystander intervention to recognize signs of sexual violence, human trafficking, and drink spiking to create safer bar environments. In addition, with our mayor emphasizing the seriousness of social media reports and need for thorough investigation of these cases, it is fortunate that there are already pre-existing programs such as the Safe Bar program, which is a center that raises awareness about alcohol's role in sexual assault. They provide free drug detection cards to participating bars, which can test for substances like GHB and ketamine. However, this program has only been adopted by 78 bars out of the total 459 in Nashville. This lack of vigilance is highlighted by the fact that only 17% of our ever-increasing bar population has enacted these programs.
In April 2024, Austin, Texas established a similar campaign to the one we are currently trying to inaugurate into Nashville, Tennessee. After having one of the largest fentanyl spikes in a decade that caused nearly 80 overdose and 9 deaths, the SIP Safely program, in which drinks were provided with test strips to guests and offered NARCAN training, a training on how to recognize and respond to an opioid overdose or how to administer naloxone for bar staff on preventing drink spiking. This feature provided more assurance about a drink since not only does the person with the drink have precaution, but the bartender is also trained to provide more safety for the customer. This initiative has created a wide community effort to raise awareness and promote safer nightlife experiences. This worked very well for the participating bars in Austin, Texas, with over 50 bars having incorporated this safety campaign into downtown Austin, Texas.
Nashville is a city not only known as Music City, but also known for its prominent nightlife and bars. Many tourists intrigued go into these bars and far too often become victims of spiking and/or harassment. We currently have 3 potential solutions that may help with this issue, that being a citywide safe drinking campaign, health inspector requirements, and normalizing angel shots and many other safety codes. So education saves lives. A citywide safe drinking campaign could be beneficial to not only locals but to tourists as well, which would include advertisements suggesting being more aware of the risk of spiking and starting conversations about nightlife safety, risk, and prevention strategies, which can be life-saving to many. For health inspector requirements, businesses are much more likely to respond to punitive requirements. We could have health inspectors require businesses to have preventative measures for spiking. Many businesses in the food industry are inclined to have high health inspection ratings, primarily for reputation. By requiring businesses to have protective coverings for drinks through health inspections, this creates an incentive for businesses to purchase and provide covers. Additionally, it would be seen as a health code violation. So, for example, for every drug, there would be a deductible in their rating. This will again encourage businesses to protect their patrons due to the inherent risk of reputation. And then you got normalizing angel shots and safety codes. So an angel shot is a safety code that is typically used to indicate to the staff that they are being harassed or are in immediate danger, requiring assistance. These dangers include trafficking, sexual assault, abduction, physical assault, and any other threats. And requesting an angel shot at a bar is a safety code already recognized primarily through social media. However, it is not widely known and understood. This could be part of the campaign with the goal of bartenders and customers becoming familiar with the safety code, whether it be through training or awareness through the advertisements. Angel shots are commonly coupled with different other codes, such as straight up or neat, is indicating a request for an employee to escort them to their car on ice or on the rocks, which requests the bartender to arrange a taxi or a rideshare vehicle discreetly, and with a twist of lemon or lime, which indicates that they are in immediate danger and requesting for the police to be called immediately. Safety codes such as these would ensure that all patrons would have different methods to discreetly request for help.
Based on similar initiatives like the Sip Safe program, Sip Safe campaign in Austin, Texas, we have estimated the potential of our own campaign. The Austin, Texas campaign had a total budget of around $100,000, which covers everything, from how they spread information to the materials needed to create a safer environment. While our campaign shares many common factors between both campaigns, the key differences between Austin's campaign and ours is tourist population. For example, Austin, Texas attracts about 20 million tourists annually, while Nashville only reaches around 2 million. This significantly reduces the amount of materials needed and how we spread the information around the city because of the significant incoming tourist difference. We estimate our campaign budget to be approximately around $75,000. This ensures we remain efficient without compromising the impact of our efforts into keeping these safety features in play. Thank you for listening to our speech.
Elected officials, if you have any question, you can press to speak if it's on, but if it's not, just raise your hand and I'll make your button. So, any questions? Councilmember Cupin now. Give me a second, I need to figure out all this.
That's Councilmember
Evans,
Evans,
yes,
Cupin.
yes. If you will introduce yourself and then ask your question, sir.
Hi, I'm Councilman Jacob Cupin. I represent downtown. Appreciate y'all being here and everybody coming out for a great day. Great presentation. It's something that I and the Office of Nightlife and others work really tirelessly on, addressing drink spiking and those issues and Safe Bar. And we have the Red Frogs program that's been implemented. But wanted to ask y'all, one of the challenges that we run into, and curious to hear how you might address that, is social media. So there have been a number of people recently that have gone on social media and made allegations of drink spiking or things happening or extreme pieces of data that we've later debunked and found to be false. But how can we how can we better get the message out of what's actually happening? And when we do see something like that, what's a good way to respond or to debunk that false information?
Hello. Okay. Hi, I'm Abby DeWeese. I believe that if the biggest part of the awareness campaign that we push out to the public is a social media campaign, if we are pushing a safer narrative in Nashville, including awareness about how to keep your drink safe, both on the person, on the perpetrator, and on the bars, on all three fronts, if we're able to look into that and perpetuate a safe feeling in Nashville on social media using the city council, a city council platform, possibly. I know you all said earlier you don't have a TikTok, but maybe getting a TikTok and using that platform. I know I proposed this topic because I saw some of those videos on Nashville and it really concerned me because I go to the Ryman and see shows. I worry about. While I'm not drinking alcohol, I do worry about these things, and I know soon in the future we all shall be worrying about these things. So I think if we look at a social media campaign as the major place we're putting the money into as a campaign, I think that's how you combat that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, we didn't get your name. You didn't have a chance to introduce yourself yet.
I'm Akshaya.
Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And great job on the presentation to everyone. My question was similar to your last comment. What's the best way for us to get the word out about this? Of that 75,000 is Austin using free platforms like TikTok? Are they doing commercials? Are they doing print advertising? Do you know anything about that that would help us to get the word out for a program like that? And TikTok's a great option, and a couple of us use it, but most of us don't.
Jump in if you have more. I know Austin specifically has tourism ads that are on television. They're commercials. There's also an atmosphere in Austin, in Texas, because I'll be honest, because it's such a red state. Austin is typically a blue dot in a red state, so it attracts some people that way, some tourists that might not go to Texas otherwise, because they find Austin to be safe. And I know Nashville can be similar to that. While we show love to all political parties here, obviously we're Tennessee, but we have similar prospects as tourism markets, and especially right now, Nashville is going through a tourism boom, is going through a bunch of people is going through a migration towards Tennessee and towards these smaller big cities, basically, coming from California and New York because they're getting so crowded and prices are going up. So if we are able to perpetuate a similar narrative of being a safe place, a more purple place in a red state, possibly, we'll be able to, including the Safe Drink campaign and making sure it's safe for people, this will help.
I think that, thank you so much. That's a great answer. I think with the Riley strain death, this is also an opportunity for us to say, we want to make sure that never happens to a tourist here again, and then talk about whatever new program we come up with. Thank you so much.
I'm going to call the council member that represents James Lawson. I want to make sure that I do that before we run out of time. Councilmember Winner. This is the last question. Okay. Please do know that we want to make sure we hear from all of the schools. And what I'm going to do is, if after everybody presents we have extra time, then we can go back and still ask questions. Okay, sorry, colleagues, but this is not a one-off. We're still going to be talking to these kids about this, okay? Councilmember Winner.
Thank you. I'll make this quick. I would love to sit down and meet with you guys at school, and I'll call Dr. Schaefer to see if we can make that happen, because I see some legislative opportunities here for us to help you bring this to fruition, not only just in the downtown core, although I love you, Jacob Coupin, like a son, but there's a problem all over town. And I think this is so important, not only to our tourists, but to our natives too, the folks that live here that are equally affected. I have a daughter. Well, I have two daughters, but one of them did have a friend who succumbed to an assault because of spiking. And so that's really important to me, and I think it's important to everybody in the room. I think that if I had to ask any one question of you, it would be, in your study of the Austin program, did you find that there was any engagement with their Convention and Visitors Bureau? Obviously, we have the Office of Nightlife, with the area police. What agencies within Austin do you know were actively involved in getting this developed?
So we don't have we didn't see a specific council that was the one who specifically put this forward. I do know that it wasn't done through Justice Enforcement Police, because a lot of the time these cases don't get brought to the police. A lot of it is, maybe you go to the hospital, maybe you don't, but like you said, at this point, it's getting to the point that everybody knows somebody. Everybody knows somebody that has gotten the drink spike, has, in this nightlife of Nashville, has had a very negative experience. And so we have different ways. We had also been looking into, they went into strip tape, blah, blah, blah. There are strips that you can put into drinks to test pH to see if that something's been tampered with. There's also, we know there are straws that change color. If you put them in drinks, covers, all of these different things, both personal and disposable ones. we don't know exactly which strain of government to go through, which which committee would be best to put this forward, but you seem
Public
to-
health and safety.
Public health and safety. So
Yep.
we would love to work with you all. If you have more questions, we're here after, and contact us and we'll help you.
I will call Dr. Schaefer tomorrow.
No, don't. But the way we use in local government works is that it's not a one-day thing. It's a thing that we work on for year end. And so that's what we did with the group last year. We'll work with them throughout. And so we'll work with you and them. As part of youth in local government. So I wanted to, and same thing for colleagues that are here. One of the reasons why we did the youth in local government, which is a little bit different from how we do the Mayor's Youth Council, is because I want to make sure that the ideas that the kids are giving just doesn't go out in stratosphere or whatever you call it, so that we're following up. And we did that for the group last year, so we're going to do it for this group. So we have a way to work with MMPS and all the agency, and so we'll take the lead on that, but we'll work together. Thank you. Thank you so much, Lawson. We appreciate it. The next school is Cambridge. Oh, thank you. Their names are not on it. Oh, your handwriting is not. You could have written it. You could have used a marker. No, it's too late. Very. Lawson, you can sit in the chamber. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Great. We'll cut off at the end. At 1 minute. Okay, good afternoon. My name is Mariah Butler. I'm a senior at Cambridge High School, and our topic is homelessness.
Hello, everybody. My name is Grace Busby. For a quick second, I'm going to talk to you guys about how we all came together to research this topic. So first, we collaborated with each other to just come up with the topic as a whole, and then we split up into groups. We had a problem and solution group, which, sorry, I don't know how to work that. A problem and solution group, which was basically our research team. And then we have our presentation team, which is the three of us here. And then we have a questions group that will answer any questions that anyone might have.
Hello, my name is Abram, and I would like to quickly redirect your attention towards the problem group.
Do I? Oh,
Okay. Hi, my name is Brittany Rivera, and I'll talk about the Nashville homelessness data. What is homelessness and how can we track it? Homelessness, by definition, is a state of not having a home or a permanent place of residence. We use point in time count as an annual 1/9 count of people experiencing literal homelessness, specifically as defined by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. The point in time count includes persons in sheltered situations. So this is people in emergency shelters, transitional housing, and safe haven beds that are dedicated to serving persons experiencing homelessness. And this also includes unsheltered situations, so people living in the streets, in encampments, or people who live in their cars on a day-to-day basis. In the 2024 point in time count, 2,094 people were counted as experiencing homelessness in Nashville on the night of January 25th, 2024. There has only been a slight decrease in homelessness by 1.6% when there was 2,129 homeless people in the 2023 point in time count. Additionally, the unsheltered count increased by 135 people, or 23%, in the 2024 point in time count. There were more people reported as being homeless in the 2024 point in time count than the 2020 point in time count when there was 2,016 homeless people. So what we see is there hasn't really been a significant decrease in homelessness since 2020.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Jasmine Munivong, and I'll be taking you through some quotes today. The first quote I would like to turn your attention to is by the contributor. So housing support systems like SNAP need internet access and documentations. Unsheltered individuals lack access to these things, and documentation is a low priority for many of them. For example, a social security card is a small piece of paper, and without proper storage, it's easy to lose. These requirements make it difficult to partake in these programs that were initially designed to support them. Furthermore, if they were to try to obtain an ID to join these programs, cost, transportation, and providing a residential address are also limiting factors. The next quote I'd like to turn your attention to is by Michael, a homeless man, who speaks upon the Supreme Court case Johnson v. Grants Pass, which ruled that banning homelessness camps on public property does not violate any constitutional rights. This allows local government to enforce camp limitations without legal issues, and it also adds on to the difficulty for unhoused individuals trying to find a place to rest.
Hello? Is that working now? All right. Hello, my name is Jacob Mandujano, and me and my friend Carlos right here interviewed some homeless people to learn their personal experience and how they feel and everything. So we have an audio of the recording of the interviews right now.
My name's Preston. My name's Ryan.
Did you kind of get into the situation?
I ended up here due because of disability. I've been now fighting my disability for over 3 years.
I had a guy, and finally he got us into a room. The past week, they raised the rent up on us, and so we ended up not paying a day. We're out here again. I lost my leg. I've been declined on disability 3 times.
Is there anything the city could do that could help?
I've been at the room in the inn. It's hard to get it. It's not a fast process, and transportation is a big thing for me. We used to have vans pull up and give us hygiene products and test people for hepatitis and HIV. And
the city, the state, any of them want to help the homelessness out here. I've always felt the first thing they need to do is rehabilitation. A lot of these people, they don't even know where to begin, get back into society. And basically, you got to rehabilitate these people. They need to take a look at substance abuse. You just can't give it to them. There has to be some type of responsibility on our part, to show that, hey, we're doing what you want us to do. You helped us out. You helped us get back into society again.
About 5 years ago, the community, it was helping us. Now it just, they see us and take us to jail. Or
Hello. I just wanted to emphasize their most important issues, which were transportation due to disabilities, hygiene access, and rehabilitation so they can reintegrate back into society.
Hello, my name is Perla Rios, and I'm here to explain to you that basically Nashville is better than this. We've spent millions on short-term fixes like transitional housing and shelters, but chronic homelessness has gone up. I mean, it went 43% in 1 year from March of 2023 to 2024. And even with Mayor O'Connell's plan, people are cycling back onto the streets, and it's not lack of care, it's lack of strategy. Cities like Houston use the Housing First model and cut homelessness back over 60%. And Nashville has the heart and the resources to do the same. It's time we stop patching the problem and start building real and permanent solutions, because that's what this city deserves.
Hello, I'm Aaron Morris, and I'm going to be talking about what other cities are doing. Here in Salt Lake City, in Utah, the Huntsman administration created apartments for homeless. This helped chronic homelessness drop 90% by 2015. In Austin, Texas, the city manager created permanent supporting housing, and elected officials created over 350 housing units for homelessness in 2014. Since then, over 400 more have been made. And in Houston, Texas, developed the Housing First method. This method decreased homelessness by 63% and have helped house over 26,000 people.
Not only have other cities made plans to fix this problem, there are also examples of profit organizations such as Housing First. Housing First includes no kind of discrimination, such as no preconditions like legal documentation, being sober, being employed, etc. The only requirement is to have the desire to have housing. This belief is that the stability in housing provides a foundation for individuals to pursue their goals. So the participants in Housing First are given the chance in their services, like deciding to engage in things like mental health treatment, addiction services, etc. Another thing that is included is that once that the participant is housed, they are offered, however, not forced to partake in certain services like mental health care, employment, and etc. And these services are also tailored to the person's different needs and goals.
Housing First embraces harm reduction, meaning it aims to reduce the negative consequences of risky behaviors without requiring abstinence. Services are non-judgmental and supportive. But where has this already been proven effective? Studies have found that 85% of participants in these Housing First programs have retained housing after 5 years. What exactly does that mean? It means long-term stability. Once individuals are given a secure and permanent place to live, they are much more likely to remain stable, even without being forced to meet behavioral or treatment requirements beforehand. This contrasts with traditional housing models already that often impose rules like mandatory sobriety, curfews, and participation in treatment programs. While well-intentioned, these can actually delay access to permanent housing or result in people losing housing for noncompliance. As a result, retention rates in such models tend to be lower, reinforcing the inefficiency of conditional housing approaches.
Hi, my name is Maya Kennard, and I'm presenting our solution. We believe that we should use grants and taxes and tax revenues to build new affordable homes and restate non-vacant and ran-down buildings. We would like to target unexploited areas in Davidson County, as in Madison and Antioch. We would also like to create an inclusive communities designed to reintegrate individuals into our society. Tennessee receives millions in federal grants each year through the Continuum and Care program. We can match these funds with our local tax incentives, such as redirecting a portion of our tourism taxes and unused budget allocations to invest in housing.
Today, I come before you not only as a student, but as a voice for thousands of less fortunate. Homelessness is not just a statistic, it's a crisis that affects real people with real stories. Our city has spent years applying Band-Aid solutions, yet the numbers continue to grow. Our city has spent years. It's time for bold, proven change. The Housing First model is not only compassionate, but cost-effective. It's worked in cities across North America, and it's what the city deserves to see. Thank you for your time, Council.
Thank you. You guys did an amazing job. Wanted to ask just a general question when it comes to like the lack of compassion that people have for homeless individuals. So, you know, for those residents in my district that would say, oh, we don't want those people here, what are some of the ways that you all feel that you would respond or to help bring them around to the idea of bringing them into the community?
Hello? Okay. So I came up with the idea to go interview homeless people. And I will say I was looking out for my safety because we were going to middle of the road or on the edge of the highway. And I succumbed to the idea of judging these people by their looks. And the second person we interviewed, Rodney, well, he looked like he was high on something. But when we went to go talk to him, he really was just tired because of his circumstances. And he gave us a great interview. He gave us great points. And I would say that a good way to make people more comfortable would be to just get them to talk to them, get them to know them, maybe set them up in some sort of event where homeless people can come in, get some sort of food, some sort of care, and people would just get to know them so they can show that these are people too.
May I also add that we also want to make sure that these homeless people are involved in our own community. We are already misrepresenting them, and we want to be making sure that we're including them formally, having them with planning and decision-making processes. We want to ensure that these programs meet the real things that they want, the things that they need, the things that they are asking for. I mean, that's the whole point of our whole solution.
Any other question? Please introduce yourself as you.
Introduce myself. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Berthina. I serve on the Metro Nashville Public School Board, representing the McGavitt cluster of schools. You guys did a phenomenal job, and I really appreciate you centering the voices of the people you are trying to make an impact with. And so that interview and actually going out and talking to the very people that you would like to support, which is our unhoused community, is pretty amazing, and it tells a complete story of the experiences that you have. And I really appreciate the fact that you led with one perception, and that perception changed when you came in contact with the very community you were trying to support. So I just want to say kudos to you. You guys did an amazing job. I will say the same thing, a similar case happened to me in relation to when I was running for elected office. I had a lady who came to the library every single day in the community, got to know her and talk to her, found out that she was part of the unhoused or homeless community, but she had a full-time job. The problem was her full-time job didn't pay enough for her and her husband to live in an apartment because apartment prices were so high. So her and her husband lived in the car, even though they both work full-time jobs. It was just not enough for them to have housing in our community. And so our unhoused community has so many different backgrounds, and it's not necessarily one type of community. It's a very diverse community of people, and keeping that in mind. So I look forward to seeing you guys and the work you do around the solutions. And I was telling Councilmember Coopin that y'all need to be on council. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I was going to mention that we didn't want to base this based off of just building homes. We wanted to make it where it's like they have access to like mental health places, like transportation, like stuff like that. sorry. Sorry. But like, we want to make it where they're like, it's where they have like accessible places to get to and stuff like this. Sorry. You can't hear me. But that's it.
Everybody crying today. Thank you. And just like Councilmember Winnie was talking about following up with the Lawson and the idea we're going to follow up. We do have an homeless department here, and some of the things are already being done, but it would be nice to bring you before that group and to be able to hear what is done and to also be able to. It doesn't want me on. It's not coming on. Maybe too many people. Oh, I can only have one at a time. So I was saying that we will follow up with you, and council members that want to work on this with you, we're going to be coming to your school and bringing you before the homeless department for them to hear your ideas, for you to hear some of the things that is already being done, and see how we can make this all work. And so all of these leaders will divvy it up, and we'll get back to you. So that's part of what this is. This is not just a presentation for today. The goal is that we'll be following up with you. So an amazing job. Thank you all so much. Colleagues, I know that we have so many questions for them. And so with the follow-up, we will be doing that. Our next school now will be MLK. Great job, everyone. The problem is we don't have enough time to ask questions. I have so many people that have questions for you guys.
It's like next year we're doing double time.
Next year we double the time.
Sorry, I gotta make sure.
They just pick up one of those chairs and just put it there. You can do that too.
It's like, where'd the other one go?
Yeah, no, typically it's not there.
I have no presentation. I just have
They lifted it up. Pun intended. Pun intended. All right, you guys ready?
Yep. All right. Hi, I'm Anna, and we are all from MLK, and I'm a junior.
My name is Amelia. I'm currently a senior.
My name is Sage, and I'm a junior.
My name's Camden Phillips, and I'm also a junior.
First of all, I'd like to thank all of the council members here for giving us time out of your day to listen to issues that are important to us and giving students a space to express their concerns, and it's really meaningful to people like us. So today, we'd like to talk about implementing more spaces specifically for youth in Nashville and how we can use those spaces to empower specifically entrepreneurs and artists. So this is very close to our own lives. I'm a small business owner as well as Amelia, and she makes press-on nails and I make jewelry. And we've been able to start our own businesses, but it's been incredibly hard without any sort of support from our schools, especially at a math and science school that purely focuses on academics and not on students' interests outside of schools. And so we've done all of the research and all of the creativity on our own, but we're competing against full-time artists and professionals and adults who do our passions for their lives. And we think we have a few specific ideas that would help empower entrepreneurs and artists like ourselves using youth spaces.
To add to that, I believe a community like this that could network different businesses and give students a space to talk about their experiences and how to develop their own businesses would be incredibly important. We all had to start from scratch, and starting early is like the best advice any business owner can give to students, but we don't have any space to start early. We also don't have any knowledge on how to do that. Many schools, including ours especially, we're focused on health and science so much that we don't have any classes that offer anything that can help you start a business or any ideas. We all started from scratch. We don't really know how to like specifics. Like we don't know where to get business cards. We don't know how to advertise, how to promote. Those are the most important things about owning a business. And having a community where you can talk to fellow kids about this would be incredibly important. Like we could help with all the knowledge that I've gained from owning a business. It would be incredibly helpful to mentor students underneath us and to give the knowledge that we've collected. And interning under current business owners would also be incredibly helpful because then we could have opportunities that aren't offered to us to learn how to network and do things like that. I think also learning how to host events would also be incredibly helpful. So like places like the farmers market, we could help intern underneath people who host farmers markets, and we could have stands specifically reserved for MMPS students. That would be something that could exponentially help promote student businesses in a way that we don't have.
So building on the farmers market idea, it's incredibly difficult for students to be involved in local markets. So I'm selling at Tomato Fest this year. I'm selling jewelry, but it's incredibly expensive through applications, business insurance that I have to cover, prices of materials, and that's all coming out of my own pocket that I have to try to manage in between school and all of my extracurriculars. And so having a space specifically for student makers to sell their goods and promote their businesses that would be open to the Nashville community would be a really meaningful way for students to advertise their own businesses and network with people in Nashville.
And also to piggyback off of what Amelia said, schools like Nashville, they're really focused on college readiness, but all the academics and all the knowledge should be able to be applied in real life. And like business ideas, like they said, like being an entrepreneur, maybe going into like artistry spaces and advertising, like investing in these students in a way that's like applicable to the local community would be a great way to like combine academics with creative spaces in schools, because I feel like even though college readiness and academics and knowledge shouldn't be sacrificed, it should be, creative spaces should be like an addendum to that. Like it should be a combined thing that students should have and not have to sacrifice their passions for academics at school.
I would like to add that there obviously are opportunities like this, but they usually have an age limit, and the ones that are available to us, they aren't incredibly advertised to our schools. So direct connections between MNPS and public schools and these government programs, such as like the Center for Entrepreneurship that was mentioned in our smaller meetings, connections like those would be incredibly important, and it would be a chain that we don't currently have, because like there's lots of opportunities, but nobody has any knowledge of this, and networking would be incredibly easy with these kind of programs that directly connect us to people who could give us these internships.
So based on a lot of the issues that we mentioned with just the logistics of owning a small business as a student, balancing all those expectations, we've come up with a few solutions that we think could help students actually successfully like take off with this. So one of these things would be grants for students to enter markets, and so this could look like just a simple grant to cover the booth fee that it would cost to have a booth at like Porter Flea or Tomato Fest, those kind of creator spaces. And then also an idea we had was for student-only markets where students could come in and sell. It would be only open for students to sell their goods, but anyone could come and shop there. And that way it's sort of accessible where you're not having to compete with people who have years more experience than you do. And it would really open up the field for people who are wanting to try out selling goods. We also talked a little bit about the idea of mentorship. So for instance, MLK has a new career-based learning program. However, because we're a STEM magnet, we do not have any connections with artists in the community whatsoever. So that's something that our school's been trying to foster, but we simply just don't have the resources or the connections to find those people who are willing to mentor students who want to be artists or who want to own businesses. A lot of it is just in like medical engineering kind of thing. Another thing was we're concerned about the lack of third spaces in Nashville. So specifically for youth, and a way to integrate that into the idea of like the small businesses aspect is
to offer maker spaces within community centers or libraries. I know that there already is some at some libraries, such as the downtown library has a maker space, but there could be classes offered on jewelry making or on silversmithing that would be like cheap or free and affordable to students so that they could get those skills necessary.
I would also like to add, like, there's our schools that already have programs like this existing. Like, there's beautician schools at different public schools that aren't magnets, to be specifically about like health and science, which we are. Connections between these schools. So like our school, we have connections through sports. We practice for football. We don't have our own team, but we practice with Pearl Cone. I feel as though that this connection with art would be equally accessible, and it would be something like a program that could be made just as easy as a sports one has been made. And being able to create these programs would, because it's obviously unreasonable to expect Metro to have the exact same funding to put this same program at every single school. So just connecting schools and giving the same opportunities to all students would be incredibly helpful.
And also to add on to the maker spaces and opportunities in like public spaces like libraries, a problem with that, even though they are already available, is that some areas are more dangerous than others. Like, for example, at our school, we are right across the street from Watkins Park, which is also a community center. But in the parking lot, unfortunately, a man was found deceased in his car by suicide, which kind of makes these spaces seem unsafe, and parents and, guardians are not really wanting their kids to be in these areas where their like lives are at risk. And also, go ahead, sorry.
Also, forgive us for not having a PowerPoint. We did come up with all of this on the fly today, but we would like to directly collaborate with council members like yourselves who can help us achieve these spaces that we're trying to implement. So I would ask that if anybody has connections or has resources to create spaces like this, that we would like to take an active role in helping you create them.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let me let the school board people tackle this one. Ms. TK? It's not letting me, oh, hold on. I have too many people up. There you go.
All right, bravo. So I just want to say that, yes, it was on the fly, but they were very passionate about it during our small cohort space today. And they asked if it would be okay if they discussed it with their group and could they change what they talked about. And I said, while you have everyone's attention, sometimes that's the time to speak. And I couldn't think of a better platform than this platform for all of you to come together and talk about this. I think a lot of times in education and just in life, we don't reinvent the wheel. We just kind of put oil on it sometimes. Everybody doesn't want to be a teacher or a doctor, a lot of kids and a lot of people in general, because even in my age general, a lot of people are going into entrepreneurship. So it's not just a younger generation, but we have a lot of resources to tap into that. A lot of us have worked corporate America, and we have savings or retirement funds that we could use to invest in our businesses. And you all express you don't have that. You don't even know where to start, And so I think like these small incubator spaces that we're talking about is a real thing. Maybe we could put them in like each district. Maybe we could have like people who are entrepreneurs or bankers or people who are helping at our own entrepreneur center come in and volunteer and work with our MNPS students and give them the resources and the help that they need, whether it be once a month, once a quarter, but just finding these safe spaces where you all can dwell and actually be able to support you in that need as well. Like the academies, we do awesome in that, but we do not tap into that market. And you all have openly expressed. I even followed your pages, and y'all are amazing. So I'm gonna buy some press-on nails, by the way. But you all are amazing, and I'm like, why don't we should encourage that, right? Like artists, like I would love to see your work. I just was at Frisk Friday. So I would love to see your work. I'm huge into art, music, creative. whatever creative line it is that you all empower to do. I also advocate for, like you said, being able to go to different schools and get your credit to that have those specific programs. Because again, when we don't have sports or different things at other schools, we give their alternatives. So it will be good to give you all an outlet as well. And I will look into that like I promised. I hope you all email me. I don't see your email. Okay. But yes, bravo. Good job, y'all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So part of what we're going to do is that all the leaders that are interested in working on the different ideas, we will be working in cohort, like I said with Ms. Winner, and trying to work together. So we'll have a conversation about how that transpires. But thank you so much. Councilmember Vo.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Suara. Great job, y'all. Thanks for sharing a need that you all see that we wouldn't know if you all didn't raise it to us. So one, I just want to let you know I'm having an API market on Saturday because it's Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Month. So reach out to me right after this so I can give you information so you can have a free booth at my market. Next, I do have literally someone was, I would say, sharing with me that they were having a hard time getting people to rent out their space in my district, in District 17, and I'm also working on a collaborative community project. So would be very happy to add these suggestions and have these conversations that maybe it's something we did not think about, but that could be a problem solver and a solution from an issue that you all see. So please reach out to me. I think District 17 might be home to this. So thanks.
Do we have the time for one more question? 1 minute. Councilmember Kupi. Oh.
I need like a beep when the microphone turns on. I could do 45 seconds. Got it. Thank you guys for doing this. MLK is in my district, so super excited to see y'all for that purpose. But I was also an entrepreneur major at Belmont. So if y'all have any questions or concerns or need help on these things, extend that invitation to all of you guys. Belmont's got a top-notch entrepreneurship program, and so it might be a good resource for y'all. So yeah, appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
On Instagram, I can connect you to them. So they're also advocates. If you text, call, email, they will respond. So, don't think that it's going to go unheard for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm saying this again, that I've seen kids come with ideas and I've seen us get very excited. And then A thinks B is doing it, B thinks C is doing it, and it all goes all over the place. So we will work together. That's why I kept saying that we want a structured thing is why we're doing this. And so please, in connection with the teachers, the student, youth and local government, we get this coordinated with everyone interested in working on each project, and we will work collaboratively because it's going to take all of us. I don't want the student emailing you. So we'll find a way to get a meeting after this. That's what we did with McGavock Transportation last year. If anybody that remember, we took all the transportation team and all the council and everybody to the student, to the school, and work out what needs to happen. So that's what we're going to do in this case. So everybody that is interested, I think I've got people texting me and said, I want to work on this one, I want to work on this one, the leaders. So we will do that. So thank you all so much. This has been amazing. Our next school is Stratford.
This is actually a personally best question. What year are you guys?
I'm senior.
I'm a junior. Okay. So that robotics program we have has a business sub team. If y'all ever want the space to like meet mentors who do it professionally, like it's open access. Y'all can just come by.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I was gonna say yours would be in the program, but yours is otherwise.
Yeah.
You guys are trying to increase the
lead.
You're on.
All right, hello, I'm Rihanna Lowry, a junior at Stratford STEM Magnet School.
Hi, I am Donkayla Watts from Stratford.
Hi, I'm Amari McKinney, and I'm a senior at Stratford STEM Magnet High School.
Today we're here to speak about the pressing transportation problem we've seen not even around our school, but just throughout all the districts in MNPS. So basically, PRZ, this is a parent responsibility zone, and this just means that within a 1.5 miles, if you're in high school, within 1.5 miles, that kid, you either have to walk or you have to find other means of transportation to school in any type of weather.
Why is this an issue? So, as you may know, a lot of schools, if not every single school that you can drive by, they will always have attendance matters, or they'll always preach attendance is important, attendance is what gets you good grades. But it is hard to be on time and be present every single day when you can't even find a ride to get to school that morning, or even coming home from school, or having to walk 30 minutes to get to a bus stop just so you can even make it for the last half of class. Another big issue regarding this is because the city bus does not have to allow you to get on the bus. The bus drivers do not have to allow you to get on the bus if your house is, like she said, in a 1.5 mile radius. And while a 5-minute drive may not seem like a lot for someone who goes to school every day or has a set schedule, for a lot of parents, it is very tough to take their kids to school in the morning, and even if it's just a 5-minute drive. And while that seems like, oh, it's whatever, you can just walk there, a 5-minute drive is roughly a 22 to a 30-minute walk for children. And while that may not seem like a big issue, when it comes to rain or inclement weather such as snow, sleet, ice, anything on the ground that can cause you harm, where you could fall, you could hurt yourself, or it's too cold for you to even walk outside, it becomes a huge problem, because that is not only like first, second, third period you're missing anymore, it's an entire day.
So you see this red dot here, that's our school, Stratford. But the radius around it, that's all the children that either had to walk or find other means of transportation to school. That's the 1.5 radius. It goes all the way from South Inglewood to Birchwood Gardens. And here's some of our stats in our profile. And you see the enrollment is 914. But if there was more transportation means, that enrollment could be way higher than it is.
How can we help resolve this issue? So as you may know, every student gets a student ID, and they can get onto the city bus if they scan their ID. But there's only one bus that runs to our school, and it's in the morning, and you might even be late sometimes. And it's one time in the afternoon, and it's at 2:20. And if you miss that bus, you have to walk 20 minutes to another bus stop just so you can get home. And there's still a chance for you to miss that bus as well. So we brainstormed, and we put together a solution where we could get a community van sponsored by WeGo that would run the schedule that would typically be ran from that one time in the morning and that one time in the afternoon. And they run it from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., which is a 12-hour schedule. This would be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, blah, 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 to Friday. And why we suggested that it should be 6 p.m. is because a lot of students are student athletes. I want to say more than half of our school is involved in something academic-wise or athletic-wise that takes place after school. And while we have programs such as Top Floor that can help you get home or help you wait for a ride so you can, get picked up from school, with the bus driving from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., it would give all the student athletes and all the academic students enough time to gather their things and get everything together and make sure that they're all set and ready to go back home before the last bus runs at 6 p.m.
So what we could earn by implementing these solutions we've proposed is an increase in attendance and enrollment, safety on the way to school. You can make sure that these kids are being safe. I mean, there's city buses, there's cameras, there's everything. And then shared responsibility between the parents and the school board and anybody else who might be in there.
You're on.
Over time, we want to see more significant change as of today. We would like to be able to identify the problem which we have. One year from now, we want to at least have one transportation option in front of the schools. In 3 years from now, we hope to see more transportation options from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. for all those school zones. So this is important to me because as a child, I lived very close to my school, and there was some kids that used to walk in a little behind me when I was walking home from school, and had I had transportation, I wouldn't have had to listen to the belittling.
This is also very important to me because coming from a family where education is extremely important and it's like college or nothing, it's very hard to have to make sure I'm on time to school in the morning when I don't even have a ride or I'm not even sure how I would get there. And when it comes to the bus, it's always a hit or miss because you never know if you'll actually be there on time or what you're missing or if you even will be able to get on the bus. And it's also extremely important to me as well is because I'm not from here. And so coming from a family that wasn't born in Nashville, you know, finding stability here is not easy, especially now that our economy is growing and people are moving down. We're getting more and more people every single day. It is extremely hard to make sure that you're stable before, you know, like you clock into your 9 to 5. And it's a lot of parents when they have multiple kids and multiple things going on, they need to make sure where are my kids gonna eat? What am I gonna eat? Where are we gonna sleep tonight? Are we gonna be able to make it to the school in the morning? It's always so much going on when schools could just take a little step further and allow children in a 1.5 mile radius to get onto the bus rather than me being like, oh, do I have to get money for a Lyft? Or will I be walking today? Or will I be taking the city bus? Or do you have time to drop me off in the morning? Will I be late? When can you pick me up? Lunch break.
This is also a pressing issue because I have a very big vehicle. So I pick up a lot of different people, and they're all people within that 1.5 mile radius that have to walk. And when I'm not here, they still had to walk to school. And there was one time when I wasn't here, and it was very severe weather, and I felt so bad, but there was nothing I could do about it. And there's also, you can't just expect this child to sit here and have money to pay for those Lyfts or Uber, or if it wasn't free getting on the bus, what would we be able to do?
All right.
Thank you. That's all we have.
Thank you.
Colleagues, any question? Oh. Madam Vice Mayor, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Ms. Suara. I really appreciate you young women elevating this issue. As I think several of our school board members, I don't see Ms. Elrod or Ms. O'Hara Block, but I have discussed this with them before. A lot of my policy work has been around walkable, bikeable communities, and we have seen that parent responsibility zone grow and get bigger. I think initially in an older era, that was perceived as the ostensibly walkable area to school. And 1.5 miles is a long way. And to your point, depending on the weather and otherwise. So I think one of the challenges as well is then it induces traffic within an area and congestion, which then it makes it all the more dangerous to walk to school or to bike to school within that radius because more people are having to drive, and it just creates a whole lot of knock-on effects. So it's something that I've been kind of asking and talking about, and I know there are many associated issues that our school board members are much better versed in than I as it relates to folks to drive our buses and the number of buses and the cost for all that. But I really would like us as a city to kind of conquer this problem because I think it's just really important. And so I appreciate you elevating it and speaking about it. I want to help you work on this, and I bet we have a whole lot of council members who do as well. So appreciate you presenting this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Any other question? Who have I not called? Who has not spoken? I'm looking. Councilmember Young. Oh, Councilmember Young. School board member Young.
Previous question. No, so the vice mayor, I think, makes an excellent point when you think of how this is impacting traffic, and especially when schools are in rather dense areas. Because something we often forget is that at least twice a day, MNPS is one of the largest public transit providers in the state of Tennessee. And so, yeah, there's got to be something we can figure out. I think, I don't know what that magic number is. Obviously, that involves more buses and increasing a transportation budget, and we would look to our wonderful funding body. But I don't know what that answer is, and I think this is an interesting approach to it because maybe it is figuring out a collaboration with vans or something like that. But as we build more walkable neighborhoods, that's great. But still, to your point, 1.5 miles is a great distance, and something I'm very appreciative of is I'm very visual, and I guess I did not realize, plopped on a map, how large that 1.5 mile zone is around Stratford. I represent East Nashville and Stratford, and I've addressed this with there's a school across the street from me, and the bus will come because it's crossing a busy state road. It would have to cross Dickerson Road, and so the bus will come to my neighborhood to get students in my neighborhood because I don't know how exactly all that gets defined in the transportation office as far as what, like if there's a dangerous road and how that would work. But anyway, I feel like I'm saying a lot to say nothing. I'm thinking as I speak, but I really had not thought about the traffic component of that and how when we are not offering the bus, we're now asking for those couple hundred students in that zone to now be in an individual car or like yourself, and thank you for being a great example of carpooling. So I think we do have some work to do. That is something that we do need to figure out and put the pencil to it, or put the rubber to the road. Okay.
And it's not even that. There's a lot of students who they get passed by the bus. And it's very weird because if your bus isn't that full and you're passing a student's house and they're walking to school, I feel like if there's a bus stop on the way, they should be able to get on that bus, but as, what is it where the students can't get on the bus if you're not on their list? So they can't allow that student onto the bus because you're not on their list.
All right, thank you so much. I called on my former colleague because I know that he represents that area and your council person has already left. But again, that is why we do this. We come up with we had a school that did transportation last year, but their take on transportation is different from your take. And again, I'm going to reiterate that we also have the vice mayor wanting to work with us on this. So we will put a group together that will be talking to you later with school board and council people that we work on this to make sure that this idea, we do something about it. Thank you all so much. Our last school will be Glencliff. You have it?
My name is Penn. On. 1, 2. Okay. My name is Penn Havener. I'm a sophomore at Glencliff, and this is not my first time in a political circle. Last year, I was lucky enough to participate in the Mayor Youth Summit, in which we discussed our concerns for Nashville as a whole. But today, I'm going to be discussing my concerns for specifically Glencliff and its community. I believe we've been neglected by the current and past systems we've been under for far too long. It's becoming not only a cosmetic concern, but a safety and educational concern. We've been on a new building list for 20 years, and I've heard nothing. Meanwhile, we're watching a new stadium and thousands of other projects get off the ground and built. My stepfather works in construction, and I can confirm he is currently working on a new Lakeville building. I have 2 testimonies given by 2 different teachers. One having taught the building for 10 years at Glencliff, and the other having taught for 22 years, but this being her first year at Glencliff. Out of their respect, I'll be keeping both anonymous. The teacher who's taught for 10 years states it's disheartening to witness the physical state of the building deteriorate year after year. Leaking ceilings, broken HVAC system, and outdated infrastructure are more than just inconveniences. They directly impact our students' learning environment and well-being. It's difficult to foster engagement and focus on a classroom that's too hot in the summer and too cold in the winter. Water damage and mold raise health concerns, and general disrepair sends students a message that their education isn't a priority. This statement specifically is extremely crucial, since we all can agree that mold's pretty bad. Especially to younger people, studies show from CDC that mold can trigger asthma attacks, lung infections, URTI symptoms. Does anyone here have asthma? Like, raise your hand. Do you all carry an inhaler? And have you ever had an asthma attack? They're bad, right? They're not a good experience. And asthma attacks happen pretty regularly at my school because the air quality has gotten so bad that it is difficult to fully get a breath in. We have dust in the vent. It's hard to see in this picture, but you can see it's piled up with dust. And that just isn't safe for anyone with any kind of lung condition. Now, moving on to a teacher who has taught for 22 years, this being her first year at Glencliff, she states similarly. Older school buildings present many problems that are not just aesthetic concerns. While the cosmetic problems are the most obvious issues, with the buildings such as ceiling tiles, bathroom fixtures, floor paint, there could be serious and structural and safety issues. When a building in a previous district, one that had been built around the same time as GHS building, went through renovations, asbestos was found in the floor tiles. Now, to be completely fair, with the way asbestos work, that is not a insane risk. Unless you're working directly with the substance, the chance of it hurting you to the point of death is extremely low, but it's still not healthy. Anyone, okay, do we have any, doctors, medical? Anyone works in the medical field? No? Well, I'm sure they'd tell you it's pretty bad. Our issue is that the things that keep a school running are not running, which in relation has caused a downward decay of multiple factors that were just mentioned. And all of this is simply surface level. I haven't even mentioned flooding. I haven't mentioned our bug problem. I haven't mentioned the rat problem. It piles up eventually. And so what can we do? I'm aware that the wish of a whole new building at this time in this political climate is unrealistic. So until we can enter those discussions, all I ask for is an allocation of funds to get a proper assessment survey of our building. That can happen over the summer anytime, to know what we're facing risk-wise, and a strip and replacement of outdated systems that most likely haven't been touched since 60s or 70s. Would it be pricey in the moment? Most definitely. And to put it in simple terms, I do not have the resources to tell you the exact amount of money that school spends on cooling ventilation now. And let's think about this logically. If and when the HVAC goes out, think about the cost of getting it turned back on by other parties, letting it run at full blast for 24 to 48 hours. That that's how long it takes to get back to a moderate temperature, especially in summer. At one point, one is going to outweigh the other. As for the survey, this would be for future purposes. So until we get a new building, we can know what we need to leave room in our budget for, whether this be repairs, simple aesthetic remodeling, whatever. I hope you take all this information into account when you're thinking about Antioch as a whole. Please know we are struggling. When school struggles, neighborhoods struggle. If you have unhappy kids, you have unhappy families, and which equals unhappy residents. With all the stress kids in my school are currently under, the least you can do is show us our education and community and well-being matters. This neglect is not only affecting their mental, but physical health too. That was
Wow. Councilmember Welch.
Thank you. Yes, you're hitting the nail right on the head. We visited Glencliff with the mayor, with our state representatives, with representatives from the school board, and I was shocked at the state of the building. Half the bathrooms did not work. Half the toilets did not flush. The gym area and the locker rooms were basically uninhabitable. They were filthy. Things were falling from the sky. There were bugs everywhere. It was shocking that we are sending students there. And so, but yet the school continues to get bumped down the list, and I'm not sure why. It's been on the CIB list, my previous colleagues for years, and it just continually gets bumped down the list. And we have done Band-Aid fixes. We did replace the roof on the gymnasium, which is where the unfortunate worker fell to his death during that. The air conditioning has gone out many times. They have had to move voting in the building because that is a voting site, because the air conditioning was broken and we couldn't have voters going in places where it was so hot. I don't know what the priority system is and why that is decided when we were up here on a list and suddenly that school gets bumped. It's also happened to the library, was up here to get fixed and now has been bumped down another 7 years. I haven't been able to get a good explanation to that, why we're seeing other libraries and school buildings getting renovated for the second time when nothing really comprehensive has been done for Glencliff High School. So that needs to be a priority, and I would ask my colleagues to please add Glencliff to your CIB lists next go round and start putting some pressure to find out why the monies are not being allocated, because Glencliff has been in this situation for many, many, many years. As you said, 20 years we've been on the replacement list, and we just keep getting bumped down. And I have not been able to get a good excuse, a reason as to why that has been the case. And so I want to apologize to you and to all the students at Glencliff who have to learn in that situation, and you guys are actually doing incredibly well, living through and working through and studying in a situation that is designed at this point to make bad outcomes the most common outcomes. And you guys are doing a great job educationally despite that. And I don't have an excuse. We don't have an excuse here. So we just need to put more pressure on the city to start allocating dollars for that. And I appreciate you bringing that personal experience of having to learn in that environment to the fore so that everybody can hear exactly what you are having to deal with as a student in Metro schools, because you definitely deserve better.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Taylor.
You know, we talked about this in the room, and so I'm just glad that you had the opportunity to present today. I'm excited to support you. I can't wait till Councilwoman Suara will connect all of us and make sure that we continue the work that you're starting. Yes. I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, thank you all for your time.
Any other question? Anybody have anything? All right. Wow. I am so proud of all of you. This is what we need. As leaders, we believe we know a lot about what our citizens need, and we do our best to address it. But hearing directly from all of you and your perspective that you bring to the table, some of it is things that even the 1.5 radius thing, I never thought about it. But the vice mayor has, and that's why it's very important to have all our voices at the table. That is why it's very important, like the mayor told you today, all of you that are 17, I'm going to recommend that tomorrow is Friday, try and get to the Election Commission webpage and try to register to vote at 17 so that when you're 18 is automatic. I'm glad that all the 18-year-olds are already voting, but I hope that you made a lot of connections amongst yourself. You made connections with your elected officials, and we will be getting back with all of you on all this topic. My goal is that we work on all of this before next year, and so you'll be hearing from us. Again, thank you also very much. The next thing that's going to happen is we have certificates for all of you, which the vice mayor is signing my fault for just getting it to her. You all will get a certificate. So we will go in the order of the presentation. We'll have James Lawson come. Then we'll do Cambridge. We will do MLK, Stratford, and then Glencliff. We will do the school pictures individually with the elected officials, all of us, and your teacher and the students. And then once we're done with the individual schools, we're all going to move outside to the front of the courthouse, and we'll take a big group picture of everybody. You all will also, in addition to the certificate, we have a proclamation that the vice mayor will be presenting to each school. It has your names on it, your school, your teachers are on there from the city to say thank you for being part of this program. And I wanted to thank the NCYC Nashville Child and Youth Coalition, who is a partner for this. With their efforts, you will be getting a $20 gift card for participating today. And finally, when we get outside after the picture, you all will also get a box lunch. And so thank you so much. We will reach back to you also with a survey. We had just asked the kids question last time, but this time we'll send you a written survey, what you like about the program, the length of the program. If you have any other thing you want us to know, we will send that to your teachers, okay? But just a show of hand, how many of you are glad that you're here today? Awesome. How many of you learned something today? How many of you, if you have the opportunity, will come back to this? Oh my God. Thank you all so much. So we will do Lawson, Henry.